Yeah, and it's that one time we forget the stretch that, the blown Achilles, it's just good, smart, and everybody's way of warming up. I'm gonna go out and warm up in a game.
Right.
Well, I've seen you play. I haven't seen him play for a while, but all of a sudden you get competitive in that warm-up game, and you go for a ball you shouldn't, and then there's a tweak here and a tweak there, and it just takes so long, especially at our age, to recuperate. If we take 5 minutes to warm up.
Our age.
All right. How old are you? Let me ask you.
Young. How old do you think I am?
Honestly, I would put you in your 60s.
Yeah, 69.
All right.
Yeah.
You're not much older than me. I'm 62.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were still in your 50s.
No.
Oh, okay. You're getting there.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm 8 months away from picking up my Uncle Sam checks.
You're going to start collecting?
Honestly, because we had so many kids, and now that we have custody of the 4 grandkids, we just sat down with our planner, and he says you've
Just
got
get
to,
it. Yeah.
because they're still under 18.
Oh,
Karen will get it as their caregiver,
Yes.
even though she's only 57.
Right.
And then they'll all get a half of mine. He says you'll never am it out to make up the difference if you wait, because we planned on waiting. But we will have 5 kids under 18.
Wow.
And
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to start in April. I wanted to wait till 70, and I'm still working anyway, so.
Before they run out of it, or they stop printing it, because they already ran out of it. I won't get into those conversations. I try to keep it away from pickleball. So let's start with what everybody does. We'll just start dinking, warm up, and then we'll move up back about halfway, hit some ground strokes, and then we'll start talking about what we're going to work on. One of the things I've been working on with the kids is the fact that most of your power doesn't come from your arms. It comes from your lower body. So getting down in that athletic stance and using that to help start your swing is a huge difference. It also helps soften these dinks up here at the non-volley zone. That was all arm. That was a little leg, and it'll lift that ball up. One of the things we're going to talk about is communication. Yours and mine. All right, let's back up to the baseline and just hit. Your target is the center line. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit that short. Good ball. Good ball. Switch sides and go backhand, backhand, backhand to the, I want you to try to take every ball as a backhand, so slide in a little bit. There you go. Good ball. I got one. That's good. It's a good warm up. Good warm up. I don't know your Mr. Dr. I don't know your first name. Albert. All right, now I got it. All right, so let's talk about let it go. My little list of the 5 things I see all over the place. I know you want to work on power and backhand.
Right.
I did just see your backhand. You have a nice, solid backhand.
Okay.
It was mainly arms.
Right.
I think as we go on, adding a little bit of body motion to it.
Okay.
I don't know what other sports have you guys played? I mean, tennis, golf,
years.
anything like that.
And really long time ago racquetball, but that's
Right.
like a million years ago.
Most of our power doesn't come from our arms. Our arms can only swing so far, and if we're only swinging our arms, our body gets in the way. Using our body, especially our lower body, to start that motion, it is, for the golfer, it is that weight transfer coming through. Same thing with tennis, coming across it, using your core to come through is where that power is going to come from. You will probably notice, and I know she plays a lot recently, when you first get here, after you're warmed up,
Right.
probably your power's there a little bit. But as the day goes on and you played your 5th or 6th or 7th game,
Right.
all of a sudden, those balls that were this high go to this high, go to the net. And it's because we're using mainly our arms.
Wow.
And after a while, we get tired.
Right.
We start adding our lower body to it, and we're going to last a little longer because we're shifting that load of where the power comes from to the whole body.
Okay.
The first thing that I teach is slow down. When we can take being a psychologist by trade, our reptilian brain wants to only react. And when we're reacting, we're not seeing what's going on around us. We're just reacting. And it's that ball's coming at us real fast that we're doing this, and we're living in this little 3-foot circle around ourselves. When we can slow down and open up to look at the whole court before we hit the ball, then we're moving before the ball gets to us. And then we can set up and actually hit a shot, not just a reaction putting our paddle on the ball. So slowing down not only helps get us in a position to hit the ball properly, it really also eliminates some of the mistakes that happen. And some of those mistakes, I'll back up and say, I'm a 51% coach. I believe that all I have to do is win 51% of the rallies and I'm going to win the game. If I'm winning 11-0, I'm playing the wrong people. If I'm losing 11-0, I'm playing the wrong people. In a competitive game where we all have pretty much equal skills, it comes down to 2 or 3 points. Generally, it comes down to 2 or 3 mistakes that I made or they made. It depends on who wins that game. Slowing down to not make those mistakes is huge. The first mistake I see is when people serve, they're too close to the line. Because pretend this is my baseline, right? I'm serving from right here. Well, what has to happen when that ball comes back? It has to bounce. So a lot of people serve and then they're here and that's the baseline. How many times has the ball come back deep and all of a sudden you're backing up, you have to hit a little half volley, you're lucky to get it back, and you didn't make it up to the non-volley zone line. And I will tell you that this is the line that determines who wins. The more you can get up here, the more points you're going to win. If you set yourself up to get up here, you won't have to worry about a whole lot of power because from here to there is 7 feet. From there to here is 22 feet. So if I can get up here, I don't need as much power. The first thing slowing down means is before you serve, literally looking at your partner and seeing where they are. So many times, we get in this whole thing, we're getting ready to serve, and we never looked over. You're getting ready to serve, and for some reason, your partner is about this far into the court. If your opponents are watching, what are they going to do? They're going to hit it right back at them as far as they can because you got to let it bounce. Now all of a sudden they're backing up and you're in a defensive spot. So slowing down means every point making sure you're ready to hit the ball, making sure your opponent's ready to hit the ball. I see that mistake regularly. The next thing I generally start with in this general first lesson is moving back on your serve, starting not here, starting back here, pretending that's my baseline. All right, my serve is naturally, if I want to get a little more power in my serve, I have to step into it. Stepping into it makes my momentum move me forward. All right, I see too many people serve and step into the court. If my opponent is playing well, that ball is going to bounce on this line. Now I have to back up again before I can make it to the non-volley zone. If I start back here, serve, all right, the ball comes back and bounces deep, I step into it. It is truly only 5 steps for, no matter how tall you are, from the back line to the front line, it's only 5 steps. For me, for you, and we are significantly different heights. Albert's in the middle, it's 5 steps. If I have to do these 2 first steps, now it's 7 or 8 steps. I'm not going to make it up to that line. So by starting back, waiting for the ball to bounce, it comes through. The things that I will tell you, everybody comes up with, well, what if they hit one short? Part of that whole 51% philosophy is mine is when someone hits a great shot, it's just a great shot. Now, the guy that hits the hero shot at the line, for some reason our brain remembers that hero shot. I hit it at the line, I hit it right in the corner, it was great. They forget the 4 that they tried to hit at the line and they missed it. I can miss the middle line, so can you, by 10 feet and it's still going to be in. I can miss that line by a 1/4 inch and it's going to be out. And you play with them, you see them out here every day. They're going for the corner, they're going for these really hard smashes, and they do get them and they celebrate. But they forget about the 4 that they missed, and I won those 4 points, and the one they hit the hero shot on, they got the 1. So taking that into your return, same thing. I see a lot of people standing right here, that this is my baseline, right here waiting for that return, which is fine if the ball bounces all the way in the front. But again, that 1 or 2 that come back here to the line, I've got to back up for. If I start back here and it hits in the middle, my momentum is already starting to bring me forward. I just continue with the shot. I take 2 or 3 more steps, and now I'm where I want to be. I want to be right here. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right, let's talk about right here for a second. If you don't mind, both of you on the same side, go back to the non-volley zone line. Just tell me where you're comfortable, where you would normally play. I like the fact that both of you are there. All right, this is a funny thing that I want to share. First of all, at this spot, it's very easy for me to know that I'm exactly where I want to be because at my height, I cannot see the non-volley zone line. All right, you're not as tall as me. Albert's not, he's getting closer. All right, the line disappears for me. So it's very easy for me to know that I'm right here. I don't have to worry about another player or anything. For you guys, you're gonna have to worry about the players over here. Right now, she can see my ankles, you can see the top of my shoes. Am I right? Can you see, you can see top of my shoes? Yeah, I was gonna say, underneath. Just looking underneath the net, you can see my shoes, probably a little bit more, because you're a little taller than April is. Yeah, I mean, really, I can see the shoes. All right, take a step back, a good-sized step. How much more can you see? More. You can see more. You're starting to see up into here. Right. All right, that tells you, without you having to look down, that you're not close enough to the non-volley zone line. Yeah. All right? Now, without looking down, just walk to where you can see just my shoes. You did look down. Just look at my shoes.
Well, I can't go past there.
Right, you can't.
Be in the-
Right. You need to come forward. So that should be, that vision, and every player you play with is the same height to their knees. So it doesn't matter who's over here,
Right.
you should be able to see exactly what you can see right now when you're up at the line. If you see more than that, you're too far back. There is no difference in the speed of the ball coming to you in this 2 or 3 feet. So there's no safety concern, there's nothing. The only thing, every time you give them more room, they have room to hit the ball, and you start to hit the ball down here instead of up here. And even at every age, but especially as we get to our ages, I can do this shot pretty much all day long. I start having to go down here, it's a different thing. My back starts to hurt, my legs start to hurt. As I come back into this section, almost every ball is here. It's a half volley. I have to be down here. It's a much harder shot. My shot coming off this paddle is an upward trajectory, and all of a sudden they're smashing it at me. You know, I'm gonna share with you before we're done with these lessons that you never have to worry about that, because the shot you just showed me is a shot you may never have to hit again. Right? Honestly, we're going to get to there in just a second. Actually, we'll skip over the bottom 3 for a second and go right to my number 1 thing.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask it multiple times.
Okay.
If the ball's right here, would you hit it? Right where you stand right now, the ball is right here. Would you hit this ball?
You would.
Probably try, yeah.
All right, would you?
Yeah, I would try. Yeah.
All right, let's go back here. Now we're back here on the baseline.
Okay.
This ball's coming at me like that ball was.
Right.
Would you hit this ball?
Yes.
Why?
This is going to be my forehand.
All right. Where's this ball going to land?
I mean, I'm assuming it's going to drop here.
Well, no, there's never been a
you're
ball.
saying it's up here?
Yeah, it's here. It's right. It literally is right here.
There?
And it's moving because every ball comes, except for some kind of crazy high lob that's dropping straight down. This ball has forward momentum on it
Okay.
from right here. Where's it going to land? It's going to land out.
Okay.
So you wouldn't stand here on this line and hit this ball right here, would you?
Okay. Because the out to let it go.
It would be out to let it go.
Oh, okay.
All right? All right. If we walk together, I'm going to tell you that this ball that's right here, above our belly buttons,
Right.
80% of the time is going to be out.
Okay.
So the number 1 thing that I see is you don't have to hit every ball.
Right.
All right, now this is a ball that's traveling towards us,
Right.
towards the long end of the court. From the non-volley zone line to back here, 15 feet. Doesn't have to be hit very hard for it to go out.
Right.
All right, and this is a ball at our belly button. The higher that ball goes, the softer it can be hit, and it's still going to be out.
Okay.
All of a sudden, and we all do it, I do it,
Right.
we're hitting balls up here
Right.
that are on an upward trajectory that are going to hit the wall. I call it serve return badminton, and we see a lot of that here. I see it. I mean, it's not just here; it's everywhere. When you're at that beginner plus section of play, we hit too many balls. All right, and again, I'm talking about the ball that's coming from there to here.
Right.
We go up here, and 2 things happen. First of all, I still call this a decision ball.
Okay.
All right, so that ball coming from over there, I'm going to let it go a couple of times at the beginning of a game because I want to see how they're hitting it.
Mm-hmm.
If I see it's dropping 2 feet in, I'm going to start hitting it here.
Okay.
If I see that they're all 2 feet out, I'm going to let them continue to go out because the idea is to win. I don't get more points by the number of times I hit the ball. I get more points by the number of times that I win that rally. Letting balls go is the number one thing that I see that people don't do. Now, as that ball starts to get higher, the percentage of the ones that you should hit go down. But we all like to hit this one right here. That's a big forehand, overhead smash winner.
I know what happens when I play all the time is that everybody says, like, you're in the moment. So, like,
exactly.
I'm always playing. I mean, this just happened this week, and I forget. It happened even with Carol, where I was like, it's going out, and they hit it, and then they miss it. And so sometimes then, everybody says it's to each other. Well, I just saved you, thank you.
Yeah.
Or the other person says, thank you for that. But, people you're in it, and it's coming.
Right.
And then you're like, is it going to go out? Should I let it go? And depending where on the court. See, so if I'm back here, I'm more likely to wait.
Right.
Because I feel like.
Well, especially if you're standing where you're at, you're not going to touch it.
Right. If it drops, I can get to it from
Yep.
back here.
Exactly.
So I'll wait to see, and sometimes I'm obviously not accurate, but if it's really going to go out, because sometimes it just hits the line and people think it's going out and they don't go for it.
I believe.
I have less time.
I believe that you should hit every ball after it bounces.
Right.
So those ones back there, a lot of times people will just watch it bounce because they're standing on the line. They watch it bounce and it goes in.
Or it goes into your body.
If you go back
It
to
goes right
if you go
at
back
me.
to moving back,
Right.
I watch it bounce. I hit my ground stroke. I'm back into point.
Right.
A lot more of these balls need to be let go. The more you do that, you start to then your brain starts to remember. Okay, coming at this speed,
Right.
I need to hit it.
Right.
Coming at this other speed, I need to let him go.
Bounce or let
Right.
go. Yeah.
That's the ball coming straight across.
Okay.
Right. The other deal is any ball that has any type of lateral motion on it. Right. Coming from here, the same ball at the same height, coming here, only has to travel from this line to that line to be out, and it's only 3 or 4 feet. So we're all over here hitting this ball coming from for the opponent over here. We're hitting this ball in the air right here, and it only has to go 1.5 feet and it would have been out. I would have guaranteed won the point by not swinging my paddle.
Right.
So one of the big things I try to get people to do is let a couple of more balls go each game. And if you truly come and sit and watch a competitive game at whatever level, beginner, intermediate, advanced, pro, it comes down to 2 or 3 balls that are hit that shouldn't, 2 or 3 balls that got hit into the net. It's really 2 or 3 mistakes. This is not a game of winners.
Right.
It's a game of who made the most errors. So taking a couple of those errors out of there by not hitting that ball that was going to go out over here or back over there, or honestly, the young athletes who are doing 30-inch vertical leaps to hit this ball up here, and it looks fantastic, right?
Who we play with at the church. What's his name? James. We play with a teenager at the church who literally, he hits balls like this under his legs.
Yep.
I mean, he's crazy on the court. Yes.
A lot of those balls would go
But
out.
he hits a lot of them out too. Yeah. I mean, he's very good, but he hits a lot out.
A lot of times we hit balls that
That's
we
like
don't
Rocky.
because we can. Yeah, Rocky's the same thing. Rocky hits balls because he can,
Right.
not because it's a smart thing to do.
Right.
If we get smarter, especially as we get to our age, we can make
Right.
up for athleticism. The other thing that we'll work on these lessons is the great equalizer is the 7-foot non-volley zone. If you can get up here and keep the ball bouncing in here in front of them where they can't take it out of the air,
Right.
it negates all of that athleticism. It negates most of the power. It lets you get to the point where they're making a mistake. Because if I pop one up here, if I have one of these 20-year-old kids come in here and pop one up to you, both of you can put it away.
Right.
All right, but you got to get in a position to where they make that mistake. Does that make sense? All right. I'm not going to really work on, because I know we got lots of lessons, I'm not going to work on the stay with your partner. I'm going to harp on falling in love with this line, which means getting all the way up here every time. The big thing I'd like to work on today isn't just your backhand.
No, that's fine.
It is where you should be hitting the ball to
Okay.
95% of the time. Middle. All right. And as any partnership you should have is staying with your partner and squeezing this middle. your paddle. If Albert, you set up, you should be able to put your paddle out. April should be able to put her backhand out. Are you lefty?
Yeah, we're both lefties.
You know what, that, when I was looking over, I go, should they stack? No, they're both lefties. It makes
Right,
makes perfect
exactly.
sense. Put your paddles in the middle for a second. Do either one of you do you ever switch hands?